Here we are outside of Castle Coliseum following a Hokie 74-63 victory over Boston College. The Hokies expanded their win streak to 7 games and remained undefeated on their home court. Coming off their best win of the season less than 3 days prior at NC State, it is safe to say that Virginia Tech didn't play up to their lofty standards versus Boston College, despite walking away with the W.
And so we want to enjoy it and understand who we are. Sometimes you have to win ugly, but we know where we want to go. We have to continue to get better. But, resiliency, actually, I wanted to play a little bit more people today, but we just didn't knock down some of the shots. I really think that if we had knocked down some of those shots, it would have changed the whole complexion of the game.
Kayla King and Matilda Eck combined for just 5 for 25 from long range, most of which were open shots they normally knock down. Fortunately, the Hokies were able to make up for their shooting deficiencies with a dominant rebounding effort, as Elizabeth Kitley and company out-rebounded the Eagles 51-29.
Tenacious. She was very tenacious. Olivia did a tremendous job. Clara Stratt came in and was phenomenal for us, and she's had an element for us that we desperately need. She makes us very unique.
On the offensive end, the standout performers for Virginia Tech were more of the same, as Elizabeth Kitley and Georgia Amor combined for 50 of the Hokies' 74 total points, while shooting over 56% from the field.
I thought Liz was very efficient tonight. Georgia, really put us on her back and took over when she had to. But we need everybody to step up.
Indeed they do. The Hokies may be able to get by Boston College with just Kitley and Amor, but to make a deep tournament run, Virginia Tech needs their role players to step up and knock down shots. The Hokies will look to keep the momentum rolling as they face the Duke Blue Devils on their home floor at 8 p.m. on Thursday. I'm Tucker Terry, here for 3304 Sports. It has now been over a month since the Virginia Tech women's basketball team lost in what was a 63-46 defeat at the hands of the Duke Blue Devils on January 18th. Since then, the Hokies redeemed their loss with a home win against the Blue Devils, as well as picking up impressive road wins at 3 top 20 teams in the nation in Syracuse, NC State, and Louisville. To put these road wins into perspective, these 3 teams are a combined 39-0 in home games against anyone other than the Hokies, but are just 0-3 when facing Virginia Tech. Against Louisville specifically, the Hokies played as well as they ever have, shooting over 65% from the field and getting massive double-doubles from their All-American duo of Elizabeth Kitley and Georgia Amor on their way to an 86-70 victory over the Cardinals in the KFC Yum Center. If this February hot streak feels like deja vu to anyone else, that is because anyone who paid attention to the Hokies last season has seen this movie before. Last year, Virginia Tech lost to Duke near the end of January before rattling off a 15-game winning streak, including massive wins over NC State, Louisville, and a redemption game over, you guessed it, Duke. This run included their first ever ACC tournament championship and Final Four appearance. Now, the Hokies return from a much-deserved bye week this Sunday to play another blue blood, this time the North Carolina Tar Heels, on a very special afternoon in Castle Coliseum. College game day is coming to Blacksburg on senior night in what could be the final regular season home game for Georgia Amor and what is certainly the last for the greatest player in program history, Elizabeth Kitley. This is only the 9th time College game day has ever come to a women's basketball game, and it is the first time for any team in the ACC. Sunday is an incredible opportunity to celebrate the program Kenny Brooks has built, celebrate the seniors and all they have accomplished, and for the Hokies to remain in the driver's seat of the ACC as they prepare for another magical run in March. Guys.
All right, my friends, it is time that we talk about the semifinals for the ACC tourney, which are set. It's number 1 UNC taking on the number 4 seeded Pitt Panthers, and on the other side, the number 10 seeded NC State Wolfpacks got on a run and made it to the semifinal to take on the number 3 Virginia Cavaliers, who just upset Boston College. I mean, not really an upset, but they knocked them off in overtime. So, guys, what do you predict for the rest of the tournament?
I'm predicting a UNC and UVA matchup. Now, as much as we all love a Cinderella story, and as much as I want to be the eternal optimist, I think NC State's run is going to come to an end. I think UVA just has such a strong squad, and with NC State going on a 4-game losing streak right before the tournament, I think they are going to hit that bump and not quite make it to the finals. And as for UNC and Pitt, I think with Armando Bacot, who had 14 points and 10 rebounds over FSU, and averages 15.5 points and 10.5 rebounds in his last 6 games against Pitt, I think he's just going to be so strong for that UNC squad, along with Cormac Ryan, who's currently shooting 16.7%. I think this shooting squad from UNC is just too strong for Pitt to quite overcome.
Okay, give her the Tar Heels.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to disagree with what you said about NC State. I think we see a North Carolina final between North Carolina and NC State. I just like NC State's matchup with Virginia, as Virginia does not have a lot of size in the front court. They've got Jordan Minor, who's played a big role recently, but I think DJ Burns can really punish any other player on Virginia's roster, and he's also a great passer too. In the first 2 games against UVA, he was able to pass out of the double teams that they always throw in the post. So I see NC State taking down UVA, but then I can't disagree. North Carolina is just the best team in the ACC this year. They've got too many options, and I just think they're too hard to beat.
All right.
This could be Tony Bennett's best squad since their historic 2019 title run.
Virginia encountered an unprecedented level of roster turnover this offseason. The Cavs lost 7 scholarship players due to graduation, the NBA draft, or the transfer portal. And Coach Bennett will welcome in 8 new scholarship players, 4 from the portal and 4 freshmen, but the hopes are high in Charlottesville. Now at number 2, we have the 19th ranked team in the country, the UNC Tar Heels.
Well, last year was clearly an incredibly disappointing year for the Tar Heels as they began the season as the #1 ranked team in the country, yet they failed to reach the NCAA tournament. However, this year should be different as UNC returns 16 points per game scorer RJ Davis, as well as double-double machine Armando Bacot. Although the Tar Heels lost Caleb Love, who transferred to Arizona, that could be addition by subtraction due to chemistry issues with RJ Davis. They were also able to replace him with Notre Dame transfer Cormac Ryan and early season ACC Freshman of the Year favorite Elliot Cadeau. Although Carolina didn't exactly have the most convincing win over Radford on Monday, if this team can gel, they should have no problem making it back onto your March Madness bracket.
UNC will look to prove that last year was a fluke as they welcome in a tough out-of-conference slate and 5 new players from the transfer portal, Tucker. I mean, you have to after you lose a whopping 7 to other schools. And that only leaves 1 team left. And our #1 team in the ACC, the defending champion, the Duke Blue Devils, as they enter the season ranked #2 in the AP poll.
Absolutely. This Duke team is just stacked. Despite becoming a one-and-done destination for many talented prospects over the last decade, this year, Duke actually returns 4 of its 5 starters. This relatively experienced Duke squad is led by sophomore Kyle Filipowski, who proved exactly why he is an early season National Player of the Year candidate, going off for 25-7 against Dartmouth on Monday. Filipowski is joined by fellow sophomores Tyrese Proctor and Mark Mitchell, as well as senior Jeremy Roach. These returners, along with the 2nd-ranked recruiting class in all of the country, shape an absolutely dangerous Duke team that will look to pick up right where they left off after an ACC tournament championship capped off a 9-game winning streak entering the NCAA tournament in John Shire's first year at the helm.
(34-21) now, Hokie lead. Georgia Amor slowly dribbling it up the court, looking to respond for the Hokies. Finds Matilda Eck, who hands it back to Georgia Amor. Eck coming around to Clara Strack's screen, looking to attack the basket to her left. Bounces off of the defense and knocks down a righty layup from the left side. 36-21 now, Hokies.
That's an underrated part of Matilda's that game. She's not just a shooter. She can put the ball on the deck and score a little bit, too.
She certainly can, as can Rickards, but she can't get that one to fall. And the offensive rebound from the Cardinals for #2, Nyla Harris. She can't get the shot to fall, but she's heading to the free throw line. about to shoot their 6th and 7th free throws compared to just 3 attempts for the Hokies, but as we mentioned earlier, that's Louisville's game, as they're 18th in the country in free throws made per game.
Yeah, they're a team that doesn't shoot it much from the outside, with the exception of a couple players, right? But they like to put the ball in the deck and drive it inside.
They do. And they can knock down their free throws when they get there as well, as Nyla Harris knocks down her first, slicing up her second, and she knocks down the pair as Jada Curry comes in for Nina Ricards, Ricards has 6 points and a board on 3 for 8 from the field. And Carly Wenzel has just replaced Georgia Amor. Wenzel working it up the court at the top of the key, and she finds Kayla King, who gets it into Kitley for a little fadeaway mid-range about 10 feet from the cup, and she knocks it in. 40-23 now, Hokie lead, or excuse me, 38-23, as Cochran takes it in on Kitley, and that is a traveling violation. Good defense there from Kitley to make Cochran turn around and travel.
Yeah, and I think that was a pretty clear walk to me as well. As Cochran's tried to push the issue against, Kitley, but it's tough when you're not only going against a girl who's won an AC Player of the Year twice, but she's also won an AC Defensive Player of the Year too.
Yeah, indeed, one of the best shot blockers in all of the country at 6'6". Carly Wenzel getting closely pressed by Curry, but she gets it off to Kayla King, who's looking inside for Elizabeth Kitley. Looking for a fadeaway mid-range, and she knocks it down over Istanbuloglu, who's just checked into the game. Jada Curry pushing up the court, having it on the right wing, guarded by Carly Wenzel. She gets the screen from Harris, but can't find anything, so she dumps it off to Sydney Taylor. Has it on the right corner, and it is swung back around to Curry, getting a screen from Russell. Curry brings it back out, just 6 seconds on the shot clock, getting it into Nyla Harris in the post, guarded by Samil. Spin and one over Olivia Samil. A great spin jump hook there from Nyla Harris.
Indeed, what a shot to go from Nyla Harris. And that's a girl you got to get activated if you're the Cardinals, right? She's a double-digit scorer, second on the team, or third on the team in scoring, and also second in rebounding, right? She's improved a lot as a sophomore forward. Her freshman year, she averaged 4.2 points. Now she's up into double figures.
Yeah, big improvement from one year to the next for Nyla Harris. As she shoots her free throw and can't get it to fall off the back of the rim. Elizabeth Kitley on the defensive glass, already her 8th board of the night. Georgia Amor back in the game, handling it at the top of the key. Finds Kayla King, and inside to Kitley. Back to King for the left corner 3, and drills it. That is the Hokies' 5th three-pointer of the quarter. They are sizzling, up 43-25 with 2:40 to go. Number 13, Marissa Russell, has it on the left wing. Sizing up Matilda Eck, and push off on Eck, and that is going the other direction. Another turnover here, this time on the foul here for the Cardinals. Actually, they're only their 3rd turnover of the game. As Kiki Jefferson has checked back into the game, the Cardinals' leading scorer, averaging over 13 a game. She's a 5th-year senior transfer from JMU. Kayla King tries to go behind the back, and it gets ripped by number 1 Sydney Taylor. And Kayla King picks up a loose ball foul as they go to recover the ball, and that is Cardinals' possession.